Hola clase! So we're going to start our new topic, which is AR, ER, and IR verbs with irregular job forms. In previous lessons, we already have seen how to conjugate verbs, regular verbs, in the present. But now we're going to see some verbs that are irregular, and they are irregular in the job form of the present tense. You will have to memorize these verbs. Thankfully, these ones are not very much. We're going to see like 9 verbs, but you have to memorize their irregular job form. So we're going to start with AR verbs with irregular job forms. Here in the chart, we have dar and estar. That's the only ones you have to memorize. Dar means to give, and estar means to be. So this to be is used for location and state of health and emotions. In later lessons, we're going to see the difference between ser and estar. Remember that in English, you just have one verb to be. But in Spanish, we have estar and ser, and those two verbs have different meanings, and they are not interchangeable. So we are going to see the different uses between them. So what you have to memorize is the yo form that is irregular. So for dar, to give, is yo doy. For estar, is yo estoy. And then the other forms are regular. So what do I mean when I say they have irregular job forms? That they don't follow the pattern we have already seen before with verbs like cantar, that would be canto, hablar, hablo, practicar, practico. So as you can see, these ones are irregular job forms, but all the rest of the forms are regular. So you have to memorize them and with their meaning. As you can see in the verb dar, the vosotros and vosotras form usually, most of the times, have a written accent or tilde. I'm going to call it tilde from now on. So it has a tilde in the A. But as you can see in this verb, this one doesn't have a tilde in the vosotros and vosotras form. This is because the word is a monosyllable, and according to orthographic rules, you don't put tildes in monosyllables. But it's just a convention. It's just a convention of how to write the verb. Okay, and then we have the verb estar, and as you can see, this verb has tildes except in the yo form and in the nosotros form. This is the only verb from this chapter that at least you have to learn where to put the tildes. Because, for example, estar conjugated in the usted, el, ella form is pronounced está. But there is a demonstrative adjective when you're saying like this is my house, esta es mi casa, that's written the same but without the tilde, and that shows like a difference of pronunciation. When you have the tilde here, this one is showing you that the syllable with more accent, with a strength in pronunciation is the last one, está, and if it wouldn't have a tilde, then it would be pronounced esta, as the demonstrative adjective in Spanish that means this. So, esta casa, this house. So, it's very important that you at least memorize where the written accent in the verb estar is. Okay, we're going to do an exercise. Complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs in the parentheses. So, I hope you already have memorized how to conjugate that. And here you can check your answers. Okay, now we're going to see ER verbs with irregular job forms. So we have 6 of them. First, I'm going to show you these 3, and then I'm going to show you the other ones. So we have hacer, which means to do, traer, which means to bring, and ver, which means to see. So we have yo hago, yo traigo, yo veo, irregular job forms. The other conjugations for the other subject pronouns are regular as any other ER verb. So you have to learn them and memorize them. So notice that, as I have said before, usually the vosotros and vosotras form has a written accent. Hacéis, traéis. But veis doesn't follow that pattern. That's because veis is also a monosyllable. Okay, so there are other ER verbs with irregular job forms. Here in the chart, we have conocer, saber, and poner. I'm going to talk a little bit about them. So we have conocer, that means to know. But saber also means to know, but their meanings are differently and they're not interchangeable. So in English, you usually use to know, but in Spanish, to express to know, we have 2 verbs, and each of them has its own use. So conocer is used when you are referring to be acquainted or the lack of acquaintance with a person, place, or thing. So for example, you can be acquainted with a book, a movie, a country, a city, or a certain person. Or also you can say like, no, that you're not acquainted with that. So that's where you use conocer. Saber, on the other hand, is used to refer to skills, facts, or knowledge. So for example, skills, maybe you know how to swim, maybe you know how to ride a horse or ride a car. So that is saber. Then we have the verb poner, which means to put, but also means to put on. So like when you put on music, and also when you put on clothes. So that's poner. So remember that you have to memorize the yo forms. Yo conozco, yo sé, yo pongo. And then the other endings are regular, as in any other ER verb. And as you can see here, the vosotros and vosotras form has the written accent, has la tilde, because these ones are not monosyllables. Okay, we're going to do an exercise with ER verbs with irregular yo forms. So I hope you have memorized them. Complete the sentence with the correct forms of the verbs in the parentheses. And here you can check your answers. Sorry for the numbers, they're wrong. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to see the last one. And this one is just one verb. So you just have to memorize one verb, which is easy. So IR verbs with irregular yo forms. The only verb is salir, that means to go out. So the irregular yo form is salgo. The other endings are as any other IR ending verb. Great. So we're going to do the last, no, it's not the last. We're going to do an exercise. IR verbs with irregular yo forms. Complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs in the parentheses. Here you can check your answers. And now we have the last exercise, a mix. Sorry with the numbers, they are wrong. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs in the parentheses. And here you can check your answers. The numbers are wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gracias.